All right, assisted living fans, hope everybody's doing well. We're here to talk about the mid-season finale, season 2, episode 8, entitled Funny Bidness. To put it out there, this was a just an average episode. What I mean by that is it didn't feel like a mid-season finale because, well, I don't believe this is the mid-season finale. I don't actually know the exact number of episodes that are supposed to be in this particular season, and I don't want to just go out there on a limb and just randomly assume, but considering that both this show and House of Pain had 25 episodes last season, and if I remember correctly, both Sisters and The Oval also had 25 episodes, but then their season 2s were knocked down to 22, I would be somewhere in the ballpark of guessing that this show has around, let's say, 18 to 22 episodes in its season 2. And we know season 3 has already been filmed, not to mention this show and House of Pain have already been pre-renewed for those shows to air another season after we finish the current season we're watching. So that's why I say all that to say that I don't believe that this is truly where the series was meant to cut off during season 2. So I'll just say that this definitely felt more like an average episode. It had 2 storylines, which I think for the first time in a while, these weren't really connected. However, you could argue that the Black Don't Crack energy drink, in a sense, could have worked into the Anastasia plot, but I don't believe we really saw it get there. But either way, this was a good episode. I feel confident giving it an 8 out of 10. Like I said, it's, pretty good. And for that, I think the Brown, FA, and Lindor storyline was my favorite of the 2 throughout the episode, but we'll dive more into that as I get into the review. So, as always, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, follow me on social media, links are in the description below, and hit that bell notification icon, that way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. So, let's see here. I actually have a page and a half of notes, but I don't even think I need to take that long to review the episode. So Brown starts off the episode. Look, I'm about to turn 30, but I've been feeling like Brown for the past couple years. You know, when you get up and you got a pop back in your neck, feels like there's a crick in your neck. Basically he's feeling old, and FA suggests going to like a massage parlor or something, and Brown, no pun intended, isn't feeling it, but apparently FA has a box of energy drinks, Black Don't Crack, and he asked Brown if he's interested in going into the business with him, and how he explained it is like, hey, there's a $500 sign-on bonus. So for a lack of a better phrase, it definitely had pyramid scheme written all over it, but as the episode went on, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. So they got more boxes. I mean, the living room is just full of boxes. Brown is on the phone making cold calls, trying to get potential customers. He already got 3 people to sign up. Trust me, as somebody who worked 3 years in a call center, I can relate. But at least in this situation, Brown and FA are getting what they're putting into it. Like, the more money they make, the more they get to take home. Reggie comes in saying that he hasn't run 5 miles like that in a while because he had at least 2 bottles of Black Don't Crack, and he grabbed the 3rd one out of the box, and Brown's trying to get on him about paying for it, but Reggie's like, oh no, I've already paid a subscription to FA, so yeah, he's already signed up for a year for his energy drinks. Lindor comes in, he's been out, advertising, passing out flyers, and I think it was mentioned in the earlier episode that this small town mainly consists of older people, so it definitely seems like the Black Don't Crack is a hit. I mean, Lindor said that he already sold about 50 bottles so far. He even came up with like a slogan or rap for it, and a lot of money's coming in, and they, praise him for being a true salesman. So Vinny walks in and takes a bottle. Him and Brown have their usual back and forth banter, and then heck, he takes like 3 or 4 more and just leaves. But either way, I would have been well, no, actually we do see what happens to him once he takes a drink later in the episode. Apparently these are $10.99 a bottle. Anastasia comes in to get a bottle, but she makes a very valid statement. What about free samples? Because typically when it comes to these sort of businesses, yeah, you want to give your customer a little taste of what they're buying. $10.99 is a lot to put down on just a bottle of something when I can only spend like maybe $1.99 or $2.50 for a soda. So she ends up buying a bottle, and it turns out she's going to the mall with Sandra. She's buying and Sandra's driving, I'm assuming. And, she's caught out for looking like a thought. So we get back to the next scene, and Cora and, sorry, tickling my throat here. Cora and Leah are sitting back watching, I believe, like a scary movie. And Sandra and Anastasia come in, and Anastasia, I guess you could say, is looking hip, young, acting ratchet. And they come up with the suggestion that wait, she got a birthday coming up that could explain why she's acting the way she is. So, Jeremy comes in because he already got her a gift. So basically it's just a situation where they're trying to surprise her with a birthday, and being a new resident of the facility will be a great way to, again, make her feel more welcome and celebrate one of their own getting a year older. So it turns out, I guess to really jump into the black don't crack drink itself, it looks like it's almost like a truth elixir. I mean, not only does it have people energized, but it makes them brutally honest with each other, because apparently an old guy called a woman a sumo wrestler. She had a bottle of the drink and then body slammed him. Wow, I'm sorry, my stomach's growling. Yeah, I definitely neglected my body this morning. So apparently this drink has this way of just making people Hulk out on each other. So Reggie and Vinny walk through the living room. They're going back and forth with each other, and no, it's not about Anastasia. And Jeremy apparently got a phone call from his old boss, who originally, let him go from his job, hence why he and his family uprooted and went to Georgia at the facility. And apparently it's like, hey, you know what? We'll pay you more money if you can work remotely. And Jeremy told him off. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I mean, it's interesting because of the fact that the remote work could have been something that was implemented in regard to social distancing because of the pandemic, because, a lot of these jobs, now they're struggling to find workers. And even before the pandemic, there were jobs that were like, oh, well, you can't work remote. We aren't designed to work that way. But they sure as heck got things redesigned, if you will, during the pandemic so people could work from home. So that was pretty crazy. All right, so there's a letter that comes in, and Brown looks over it, and there was a class action lawsuit against him, basically saying that a customer was angry because the drink creates, aggressive behavior, leads to job loss, potential breakups in relationships. So if you sell any more of this if you sell any more of this drink, you're going to be in a lot of legal issues. So we go over to another scene, and Leah and Cora are working on the surprise party for Anastasia. They got balloons, streamers, a cake, candles. Sandra, makes a couple jabs at the fact that, we need a fire extinguisher for all the candles we got to light up for her birthday. Jeremy comes in with some gifts, and they're trying to set everything up. Anastasia comes downstairs, and I think the thing that stood out to me is she was wearing a t-shirt that said "Getting Old Sucks," and she's feeling all depressed due to the fact that, a year older, everything's sagging. It kind of was harkening back to when she first came to the facility and was feeling her age for like the first time. But later in the episode, we really find out why she doesn't like her birthday. And it's not necessarily about her getting older, but while everybody's trying to walk around on eggshells, hiding everything from her, because it's like, yeah, this is going to be a great surprise. Oh, wow, she hates her birthday. We need to hide everything. Sandra comes in because Jeremy actually, it's like, oh, no, it's okay, Miss Anastasia, you're fine. And it's like, wait, are you saying if I was, 30 years younger and you were single, you would give me a second look? And every time Jeremy tries to say anything reassuring, he ends up putting both feet in his mouth until he's just pushed out of the scene. But I think my favorite part was when Anastasia came down and they were hiding stuff from her, and then I think Leah was chucking the gifts at Jeremy, and he was getting hit behind the counter in the kitchen. I was like, damn, that was messed up. Hopefully none of that stuff was fragile. So Sandra comes in, and she's unaware of what's going on, and she makes another joke about how 78 candles definitely going to set this entire place on fire. Then Anastasia discovers what's going on, and she flees upset, and they blame Sandra. It's like, how would I know? So at the end, I'll skip to the end of the episode real quick. So Anastasia ends up coming in to talk with Cora and Leah as they're taking things down for the birthday party, just to kind of, apologize for the way she acted, and explains that her fourth husband used to jump out of a cake every year for her birthday, Pot Pie, the sailor, along with various other characters, until one time he did it and he died. So that's why she's had a negative negative feelings on her birthday whenever it came around. So she ended up accepting the cake and the candles, and everybody came together, and it was just a lot of love going on there. So before that, Brown and F.A. and Lindor, they're all sad due to the fact that their business is gone. All that money, they lost a lot of money. But like Brown was saying, well, at least we got, hit with that lawsuit now as opposed to when it happened. When I bought that big house and the nice car, once I bought it, I wouldn't have given it up. And then Lindor, okay, this is the part that had me going, oh, wow, I like this. So Lindor was like, wow, it's sad. I'm sad too. I've never been this popular. I never had people just throwing money at me like that. Now I see why my dad was a stripper. I like that nod to continuity, because remember the first episode of season 2 was titled Bail Buns, and that's when it was discovered Lindor's father was a male stripper. And, apparently that kind of embarrassed him to the point he ran out of town. So, yeah, that was kind of, I just like continuity nods like that. I'm a sucker for continuity. So, Reggie comes in, again, remember he used to be a judge and whatnot, so he has a legal pull, and he was able to make it so all the drinks could be purchased by a legal team, a law firm. Basically, the courts would take possession of the business and call it Wisecrack. Essentially, these drinks are, an aggressive, brutally honest truth elixir. So basically, they would use the drink in order to get people to tell the truth. I don't know if that's legal or not, due to the fact that it's like, like in war movies and whatnot, they would talk about truth elixirs and whatnot, where they would shoot it into the bodies of people who are prisoners in order to get them to tell the truth. So I feel like there would have to be some kind of legal leeway in that, but this is a comedy show. Nobody really thinks about that kind of stuff. So either way, it's not a total loss, but things didn't end as badly as they could. So overall, like I said, this was a run-of-the-mill, I wouldn't even call it a filler episode. I think it was just good fun, and that's what I enjoy about this show. Like I said in a previous video, since I'm at home, sometimes I'm just sitting in front of the TV, which is rare. I'm usually in my room doing stuff, obviously working, because there ain't nothing else to do around here. And I think over the weekend my mom and I watched like a handful of Meet the Brown episodes, and even though obviously there were stories going on with the characters, it's just a show mainly for a good time. So I'm having a great time watching this particular show, this particular season to be more specific. I could have been like, wow, Philip wasn't in the episode, but then remember Sandra wasn't in this episode. Lindor is back for the first time, I believe, since the first episode of the season, if I remember correctly. Even though he didn't have any scenes with Sandra, it wasn't really necessary, due to the fact that they both had solid roles to play in the episode. It would have been cool to see Miss Anastasia have a bottle. We know that she bought a bottle, but I was like, oh, did she drink the bottle, and that explains why she's acting the way she was? No, plus she was brutally honest even about the drink, so wow, now, who knows what she would have said if she had a few sips on screen, that is, that we knew of. Not to mention, I kind of want a bottle of that myself to see what it tastes like. You hear that? Sister Living team, send your brother a bottle. Hit me up on social media. You know where to find me. Alright guys, well, with that being said, I do have one more House of Pain and Assisted Living video to do, and that's pretty much going to be about the ratings for both shows in regards to their second seasons on BET compared to the previous one. Obviously, it's season 9 versus season 10 of House of Pain, and then season 1 and season 2 of Assisted Living. Looking at the ratings alone, even though I think both shows made a major improvement in terms of the writing and directing. But with that being said, if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, guys, I will talk to you all in the next video.